I should mention that although I am attempting to go to speak to McCook Police Department, there are already multiple people who are warning me. They are afraid that I will be arrested for trying to turn in these crimes. That includes Amanda DeMett, and Mandy Singer already warned me about that once before. Many of these witnesses are low-income families. They live in public housing, and they have to be afraid that if the police show up at their door, that they will lose their housing. That's one of Mandy Singer's biggest fears. I wrote to Amanda DeMett this morning. I typed, I meet with McCook PD detectives this afternoon. She typed, good luck, don't get arrested. I typed, indeed, they tend to do that. She typed, yep. And I typed, the fact that you know they are likely to arrest me for trying to turn them in shows you, like the rest of the public, are already aware that law enforcement does this to us. Now, these officers that I'm trying to turn in, just the ones in Dual County alone, there are witnesses to the events, such as Polly Olson, who is not likely to be honest on the stand because she is friends with these officers. And she has admitted that on more than one occasion, including on the day that I was assaulted by Sheriff Scott DaCosta for trying to turn him in. After 2018, and the crimes committed by the Dual County Sheriff's Department, deputies of the Dual County Sheriff's Department and the sheriff, it was not appropriate for me to be forced to go to them for the crimes investigated, or for the crimes committed against me, whether that be by the Dual County Sheriff's Department or others in town. It is obvious with all of the evidence that Dual County Sheriff's Department did everything that they could to ignore those crimes or to help cover them up. In that situation, it is Nebraska State Patrol's job to investigate those crimes, and they outright did not. Then, when Dual County and the sheriff, as well as deputies and Leslie Snell and Robert Warnick, created a safety issue for me, where it was unsafe for me to go to them, where it was unsafe for me to even be in that town, and it was unsafe for me to go to the Nebraska State Patrol on the meeting that Thursday, where I had to find a place where it was reasonably safe for me to actually go through this evidence with Meg and get it sent to her and try to increase the storage space on my, what is it, Google Cloud? Is that what it's called? Let me see, it's called OneDrive, is this one. And then over here it is, let me see, this is also OneDrive. There are 3 separate OneDrives, and each one of them contains evidence, and I am having difficulties logging into any of them. I have to reset my code. With 2 of the phones that were attached to those, in order for me to be able to recover the information, they have to send the verification to either this phone here, which is broken and no longer connected, or this phone, which is broken and no longer connected. And so I will not be able to gain access to those without assistance. With all of my money going to travel and going to expensive lodging, such as this hotel room, this cost me, it was actually really cheap. It was $350 for a week. I also paid $80 for an additional 2 days, and the man who is renting the hotel room to me. He's given me permission to actually stay here till Saturday. However, I have court on Thursday. It can't be Thursday because on my paperwork it says on the 4th, so that would be Friday. So they are intentionally misleading the situation, or I do have court on Friday. This is another thing that is a complication that is not my choice and not my decision. Now, since the paperwork that I have does say on the 4th, which is Friday, what happens if I show up on the 4th, which is Friday, and they decided to have court on the 3rd? Now I'm going to get into it, and we shall see. I'll even take a screenshot of it and post it up. I'm going to have to send myself an email so that it'll open it up so that I actually have access to that. I have 3 different accounts that are all going through this phone, and the main account, here's one. Yes, it does take me to my main one. Alright. I'm going to pause this while I look this up because it might take a while. Alright, so the document does show that it is on February 4th, which is Friday. As a result, I have until Friday to get this done. Dual County Court for this is usually on Thursdays, so it is likely that they're going to try to do it over the telephone or Zoom or something of that nature, in which case I will need assistance with that. There are people who are willing to help me with that. Hopefully Meg will have the time. She doesn't usually anymore. I'm doing what I can. Now, if I am arrested on bogus charges again from the Dual County Sheriff's Department and from the crimes that they've committed repeatedly, this is their pattern. They have done this on no less than 7 separate occasions. So, yes, it is very likely that they will pretend I broke the law again in order to harm me for trying to turn them in, for continually trying to turn them in. However, in order for me to stop the threats, harassment, and assaults, in order for me to have a safe environment where I will not be victimized by the police for being homeless, I have to do something. Those of you who have never been homeless, who believe that we can just move on to somewhere else and magically these problems disappear, you're horrible. You are horrible people. You are making excuses for things that you would not want happening to you. Can you imagine having to move, and every time you move, you are threatened, harassed, intimidated into moving again, or you're arrested just because you exist? It's horrible.